Thank you all so very much for joining us. Before I introduce our plenary speakers, Dick Schwartz and Frank Rogers, I'd like to introduce my dear friend and the president of our Foundation for Self-Leadership, Harley Goldberg.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Dick, and the Center for giving us just a few moments to be with you this morning. It is my honor to be able to present to you on behalf of the Foundation for Self-Leadership Board that the Foundation has successfully completed the initial charge for which the Foundation was established, to bring scientific validity to the IFS practice in psychotherapy. And beyond that, to build a platform for which the principles of IFS can be brought to the world. And it is an honor to be able to represent our board and all of the hard work that all of the members of our board and volunteers for the Foundation have worked tireless hours to make that fact. So, as the Foundation turns in its cycle, the next phase reaches before us. And so it is my pleasure to introduce to you Toufic Hakim, who is, along with Frank Anderson, our co-executive director, who will give you a glimpse into where we're headed and invite you to join us this evening to take a deeper conversation into what's possible. Toufic.
That's one of the things I like about this conference, a lot of hugs. Good morning. I am indeed filled with hope seeing you all here today. Filled with hope knowing what you do. Hope that the world will be okay, that the future will be okay. And of course, we must continue to do what we can to make that possible. You are the foundation upon which the Foundation for Self-Leadership has built its mission. We do our work on your behalf, in partnership with you. We know that day in and day out, you and thousands of practitioners share the lens and language of IFS with clients, colleagues, present and prospective, close family and friends, bidding them not to enter the temple of your wisdom, as Gibran warned us, but to reach the threshold of their own mind, to help them rediscover themselves and be empowered, to help them reconnect with the world and live and engage in it with peace, with mindfulness, and with acceptance. In a way, you are the agents of the very change we desire for the world. You spread hope, optimism, healing. You do your part. You innovate. You twist some ideas here and there. You enrich the model and its applications. You do your part, no doubt. And we, as a foundation, must do our part, magnifying your efforts and deepening and broadening the collective impact we have together for the world. You see, if each of us alone is a single drop of water, with its ripples being sent all around, together we are an ocean, deep in commitment and passion, vast in resources and talents, transferring IFS gently through the world, and bringing the future safely to calmer shores, especially in turbulent times. We are your foundation, your stewards. We're from the community, for the community. We are a system. Together, we share a vision for the world. We, the foundation, the Center for Self-Leadership, the community. A vision that couldn't be achieved by anyone alone, together. So we stand now looking at the future, trying to identify our next destination. We must set our sails and develop the next chapter in our journey. And there'll be many stories, moving, inspiring, stories that haven't yet been written, and stories that we together will write. Like the story of Jared, who has grown up to be a self-aware, self-led man with the skills to prevent, reduce, and resolve conflict with others, with the inner wisdom to exhibit calm, compassion, and curiosity in the face of adversity and daily challenges. Today, Jared is an at-risk student at a middle school in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He struggles. He acts out. He knows only two emotions, anger and sadness. He speaks from them, behaves from them, until gradually his teacher and his school counselor exemplify for him, model for him, introduce him to the notions of parts and self, giving him aha moments, helping him change his perspective and views, and perhaps change his future. This is not a far-fetched story. In fact, together, with your help, the foundation will launch its first pilot program in education at 2 middle schools in inner city Minneapolis, Minnesota, with the help of our own Jody Nelson, who's done some work in that space successfully. We will try to teach teachers about IFS and study how their knowledge of IFS would help them connect with their students better and help their students change their views and perspectives and perhaps their behaviors and academic performance. Don't we all wish we were exposed to IFS early on? We teach reading and math. It's high time for emotional education. And I know some of you in this room, thank you. It is. And I know that some of you in this room have done great work in that space. So together, we will teach 1,000 teachers about IFS in order for us to harness the potential and the wisdom of 1 million minds for the next generation. Can we all imagine how different the world will be if there was greater access to IFS? If we can all speak, act, and react with the knowledge of parts and self? That's really some of the elements of our vision for education together. Sail with us. We want to write the next chapter about the efficacy of IFS as a treatment in various settings, and deepen and strengthen the empirical evidence, and be able to build an excitement about research in IFS. And there are too many stories to be written there as well. The story of Valerie, the Veterans Affairs executive, who not only encourages, but now urges her mental health professionals to use IFS as a treatment to help patients with PTSD regain normalcy, because she's compelled by the empirical evidence. We see the story of Ian, the insurance behavioral health examiner who, as a matter of routine, approves IFS treatments, again compelled by the evidence. We see the story of Carlos, the university and college graduate professor who doesn't think twice about teaching an IFS course or an IFS module in mental health or management science, again, compelled by the evidence. Far-fetched, you say, or you think. I did. But you know, the foundation, with your help, did support a number of rigorous research studies that have shown promising results and plan to take that to the next level, strengthening empirical evidence and building a strong research base for IFS. That's our collective vision for research. Please, sail with us. The foundation believes we have an obligation to support and serve communities in need, marginalized communities. And we applaud CSL and John Schwartz in particular for engaging in that space and taking leadership. We imagine a lot of stories there too. The story of Takisha, who grew up in an underserved neighborhood, struggling with all sorts of economic and political conditions. There's no access to IFS in her community today. But one day soon, she can walk in casually into her local community agency and meet her parts and embrace a better future. Or the story of Talib, the immigrant refugee who, through the qualities of self-leadership, can overcome trauma and perhaps gain the confidence to transition smoothly into his new home without fear and anxiety. In fact, the foundation has a vision of having celebrities talk about parts and self-awareness to their fans in the mass media. Imagine athletes talking to their fans about lessons they learn on the field or in life, lessons about, let's say, behaviors that were less ideal displayed publicly, lessons about how their inner teams of emotions are winning teams. That's not far-fetched either. Had the computer been set up, I would show you a slide from the animated to be animated video clip. In fact, several of them. And here I have to whisper that in partnership with the Education for Peace, the foundation has been working with Disney Pixar to produce these video clips with celebrity athletes talking to their fans in animated clips using the Inside Out characters. And we're close to signing the contract. So that's our vision for advocacy. Please sail with us. Ambitious visions, aren't they? But we think they're fitting. Of course, we'll have to choose smaller steps and have measurable goals. But regardless, that requires strategic thinking and masterful execution, community engagement, significant partnerships, endurance, determination, perseverance, and of course, continuous funding. If you feel compelled by these stories or inspired by these stories, if you see yourselves in any of these stories, we invite you to engage with the foundation and the community to help achieve that vision. We need your generous heart, your generous spirit, your generous ideas, and your generous giving. There's a lot of ways to give. Please give what you can, but give. Share about the foundation's work with your colleagues. Place our materials in your offices. Tell us about donors who share our values and vision. Run for the foundation, hike for the foundation. In fact, I had a picture of a colleague of ours who just completed 2,200-mile, 6-month hike of the Appalachian Trail, dedicating his journey to the foundation and raising a few dollars for us. Ray Mount. And in fact, the picture of Ray in the slide doesn't look anything like he looks today. He was standing at the final point with 2 big ski poles, but you wouldn't recognize him with his hair and beard. Join us this evening at 5:45 in this very ballroom and engage with us. You know, imagine with us the future of how to advance IFS through research, education, and advocacy. Engage with Frank Anderson and Mark Milton and Harley Goldberg and Pam Krause and Vicky McCoy and Les Fagan and Ray Mount and Jody Nelson. And please come claim your gift from the foundation. Some of you are wearing those gifts already. It's a little bracelet from us to you, thanking you for everything you do every day. It'll carry a word, your own word, something you hold dear. And I want to say that my word is peace. If, as it is said, we don't see the world as it is, but we see the world as we are, then only by experiencing inner peace can we even begin to contribute to a more peaceful world. Peace. Thank you.